قصة رجل من اليهود أسلم في المدينة. The story of a man, a Jewish man, who embraced Islam in Medina. كان رجل من اليهود في المدينة عامل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ببيع إلى أجل. There was a man amongst the Jews in Medina who did a deal with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a sale to be paid later. ثم جاء اليهودي إلى النبي. Then the Jew came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فقال, and he said, يا بني عبد المطلب. And then he said, "Oh, clan of Abdul Muttalib," he's addressing the Prophet. "Innakum mutul. You are procrastinators. You don't pay the debt. You are deadbeats." فَلَمْ يُعَنِّفْهُ النَّبِيُّ. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not scold him. He was not rough with him. He did not respond to him in kind, in the same way. He didn't offer him a snide remark, etc. He didn't raise his voice at him. He didn't turn it around on him. Nothing. وَلَا أَظْهَرَ الْغَضَبَ مِنْهُ. And he did not display any anger from this. ثُمَّ أَمَرَ النَّبِيُّ بِوَفَاءِ دَيْنِهِ عَلَى وَجْهِ الْإِحْسَانِ. And then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam commanded for his debt to be paid as a favor. He wasn't due yet. He came to the Prophet before it was due. That's not mentioned in the story clearly. Without it being due, and then he said, "Y'all are deadbeats. You don't pay your debts on time. You're a clan of deadbeats." The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he didn't do anything, didn't say anything. So that's a very great reminder. And this really does have an effect, subhanAllah. Sometimes, like you see in this story, he had a good outcome. Sometimes a person get even madder at you that you didn't get mad because wants to fight with you. And sometimes some people have other reactions to that. They'll just be baffled. They'll be surprised. They don't even know what to do. They can't believe you didn't respond harshly. Rather, what did you do? You just responded maturely, like the Prophet did. This man came, insulted the Prophet, insulted his whole clan. What the Prophet did, alayhi salatu wasalam, so pay the man his money. Khalas, no need to engage in the ignorance with him. فهذا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لم يكفهر في وجه هذا اليهودي. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam لم يكفهر في وجه هذا اليهودي. يكفهر, I don't remember what يكفهر means. But as per the context, it means like what we've already said. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam, he wasn't shaken. He wasn't like offended. Maybe, I don't know if he's offended in himself. Because you could be offended just by the fact that it's haram. Could be the haram that is what annoys you. It's not even that he insulted you. It's he insulted me. Who cares? That's haram though. That's the problem. لم يكفهر في وجه هذا اليهودي الذي أهانه من ذمه وذم عشيرته. He didn't do something in the face of this Jew who belittled him by dispraising him and dispraising his whole tribe, his whole clan. لأن كلامه شامل له ولعشيرته. Because this talk of his was not just for the Prophet ﷺ, it was broader. He did that on purpose. فكأنه قال أنت يا محمد وعشيرتك تماطلون الدين. It's like he said, you, Muhammad, and your whole family, you don't pay your debts. فأسلم هذا اليهودي. Then this Jew embraced Islam. لأنه أراد أن يمتحنه, because he wanted to test him. هل يجد فيه العلامات التي هي مذكورة في بعض الكتب القديمة? Would he find in him the signs that are mentioned in some of the ancient books in صفة سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم؟ فلما رآها كلها أسلم. Then when he saw all those signs, he embraced Islam. And you know the story also about, maybe you heard the story about a Muslim. He had a neighbor who was a kafir. And this kafir neighbor of his had najasa leaking into the house of the Muslim. And the Muslim used to clean it up. He didn't say anything to the kafir. So, same thing here. Because you have another type of person. Another type of person, someone who came to him and said, you and your family are all a bunch of deadbeats. So maybe he would have gotten beaten down there. Beaten down. Could have got rolled on right there. Or maybe he would have gotten a tongue lashing at the least. Here, the Prophet didn't even suck his teeth at him, didn't even roll his eyes at him, etc. He just took care of the issue. Also, this man that I'm telling you his story, he cleaned up that najasa. There's another type of person. He's going to come banging on that person's door. Muslim even. He's banging on the door. And tell him with firmness and seriousness and fury, got najasa coming into my house. But he didn't do that. So he used to clean that najasa up until he got sick. So then that's when he went to his neighbor and told him, listen, you got najasa leaking into my house. Now, I usually clean it up, but my family's going to be coming here. They're not going to be patient with you like I am. So that captain, he was astonished. He said, all this time? And he embraced Islam. From how that Muslim was patient. He told them, this because of your religion you like that? And he embraced Islam. Subhanallah. قصة إسلام سيدنا عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه. The story of how Master Umar ibn al-Khattab embraced Islam. May Allah accept from him. سيدنا عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه هو أبو حفص. Master Umar, the son of Al-Khattab, may Allah accept from him, he is Abu Hafs. Abu Hafs, because he has a daughter named Hafsa. I asked Sheikh Samir, why Ta'mar Buta is taken off the name? And then you say Abu Hafs. He said, I don't know. So I don't know if this Hafs is different from Hafsa or what's going on there. Umar ibn al-Khattab. Umar, the son of Al-Khattab ibn Nufail. Al-Khattab is the son of Nufail. Wa ummuhu Hatmah. Hatmatu bintu Hashim. And his mother, her name is Hatmah, the daughter of Hashim. لقبه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بالفاروق. The messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم gave him the nickname Al-Faruq. It means something to the extent of the differentiator. لأنه كان يفرق بين الحق والباطل. Because he used to distinguish between truth and falsehood. أسلم في السنة السادسة من النبوة. He embraced Islam in the 6th year after the Prophet received the revelation عليه الصلاة والسلام. وكان عمره 26 عاما. He was 26 years old. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. أسلم بعد نحو 40 رجلا. He embraced Islam after about 40 men. 40 men? 40 men after 6 years? Allahu Akbar. I didn't know. I didn't know the da'wah was that slow. وفي قصة إسلامه عدة روايات. And in the story of his embracing Islam, there are many renditions. منها ما ذكر في كتب السير. Amongst them is what's mentioned in the books of the biographies. أن عمر قال, that Umar said, خرجت أتعرض لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I went out to target. I went out targeting the messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم. فوجدته قد سبقني إلى المسجد. And I found that he got to the masjid before me. فلحقت به, so I went after him. فإذا هو في الصلاة, and behold, he was praying. فقمت خلفه, so I stood behind him. Now, so this man is 20-something years old. The Prophet's in his 40s. So this 20-something-year-old, he wants to assault this 40-year-old man here, 40-something-year-old man. فاستفتح بسورة الحاقة. So then he opened up with Surah Al-Haqqah. فبدأت أتعجب من نظم القرآن. Then I was amazed at the composition of the Quran. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Even a kafir who don't understand the Quran, he will hear the Quran and say, what? فقلت هذا والله شاعر. So I said, this one by God is a poet. But there's something implied here. It doesn't mean mere poet. He's saying this one is, Yani, what kind of poet is this? Kama qalat Quraysh, just like Quraysh said. He's a poet like Quraysh said. وقرأ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قول الله تعالى. So when this crossed Umar's mind, the Prophet recited this ayah that's in Surah Al-Haqqah. إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ. It is indeed certainly the saying of a noble messenger. وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ شَاعِرٍ. And it is not the saying of a poet. قَلِيلًا مَا تُؤْمِنُونَ. So little do you believe. Which means you don't believe at all. وقال عمر. So then Umar said, yani saying to himself, إِذَنْ هُوَ كَاهِنٌ. Then he's a fortune teller. Like he's saying, well, if this ayah is true, he's not a poet, then he's a fortune teller. And anyway, they knew that what he was reciting wasn't poetry. When they called it poetry like this, they knew it wasn't really poetry though, but it wasn't something that they were accustomed to. So he said, إِذَنْ هُوَ كَاهِنٌ. Then he's a fortune teller. فقرأ النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قوله تعالى. And then that's when the Prophet recited also from Surah Al-Haqqah. وَمَا وَلَا بِقَوْلِ كَاهِنٍ. Nor is it the saying of a fortune teller. قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. Little do you take heed. So when the first one crossed his mind that he's a poet, the ayah came denying that he's a poet. So he said, well, then he's a fortune teller. Then the ayah came denying that he's a fortune teller. فقال عمر. So then Umar said, وقع الإسلام في قلبي. Islam fell into my heart then. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. I testify that no one is God but Allah, and I testify that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. وَالرِّوَايَةُ الْأُخْرَى. And there's another version or another narration. Excuse me. Another report. قِيلَ. It was said, إِنَّ عُمَرَ خَرَجَ مُتَقَلِّدًا بِالسَّيْفِ. That Umar went out with his sword drawn. فَوَجَدَهُ رَجُلٌ مِّن بَنِي زُهْرَةٍ. And a man from the clan of Zuhra ran into him. فَقَالَ أَيْنَ تَعْمَدُ يَا عُمَرَ. He said, where you going, Umar? قَالَ أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَقْتُلَ مُحَمَّدًا. He said, I want to kill Muhammad. فقال, and then the man said to him, وَكَيْفَ تَأْمَنُ مِنْ بَنِي هَاشِمْ وَبَنِي زُهْرَةٍ? And how you going to be, if you do that, how are you going to be safe from the clan of Hashim and the clan of Zuhra? وَقَدْ قَتَلْتَ مُحَمَّدًا. How will you be safe from those clans if you killed Muhammad? فَقَالَ لَهُ عُمَرْ. So Umar said to him, أَرَاكَ قَدْ تَرَكْتَ دِينَكَ أَرَاكَ قَدْ تَرَكْتَ دِينَكَ الَّذِي أَنْتَ عَلَيْهِ. So Umar said to him, I see that you have left your religion. He means their pagan religion. He's saying, I think you became a Muslim talking like this. فقال الرجل. Then the man said, أفلا أدلك على العجب? Should I tell you something strange? إن أختك وخالتك أي سهرك قد تركا دينك. He said, your sister and your brother-in-law left your religion. فأتاهما عمر وكانوا يقرؤون طه. So then Umar went to those two. They went to the house they were in. And the people in the house were reciting Surah Taha. سمع شيئا من قراءة القرآن من خلف الباب. He heard some of the recitation of the Quran behind, from outside the door. From behind the door. وكان عندهم أحد الصحابة وهو الخباب. One of the companions was there. His name was Al-Khabbab. فطرق عمر الباب. Then Umar banged on the door. وفتحوا له. And they opened it up for him. فقال أسمعوني. Let me hear. فقالوا هو حديث تحدثناه بيننا. They said, it's just talk we are saying. We're just having a conversation amongst ourselves. ثم قال عمر. Then Umar said, اتبعت محمدا? You follow Muhammad? فقال له صهره. So then his brother-in-law said, أرأيت يا عمر إن كان الحق في غير دينك? Umar, what about if the truth is not with your religion? فبدأ يضرب صهره ضربا شديدا. So then he started beating up his brother-in-law severely. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. فجاءت أخته تريد أن تدافع عن زوجها. So then his sister came wanting to defend her husband. May Allah have mercy on it. Ameen. Subhanallah. فضربها. Then he hit her too. Subhanallah. Sometimes you see something like that, like there's a man, he's with his woman, and then he gets assaulted, let's say, maybe even by many guys, and then his woman will be like shield for him, try to block him. Although she's a woman, he can withstand those blows more than she can. She will be trying to stop him. No, don't hit him. Get on top of him and things like that. Subhanallah. Then if they're really mean, they'll hit the woman. That's what happened here. Then he hit his sister. Sometimes they won't hit her. Subhanallah. فقالت بقلب ثابت. And then she said with a firm heart, متوكل على الحي الذي لا يموت. A heart that was reliant on the living one who does not die. أرأيت إن كان الحق في غير دينك? What about if the truth is not with your religion? أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله. I testify that no one is God but Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. فتوقف عمر عن ضرب صهره. Then Umar stopped beating his brother-in-law. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. ثم طلب الصحيفة. Then he requested that page. فلما أعطيت له الصحيفة. Then when the page was given to him, so that's what it says here, it was reported that he took it. In some reports he took it, they didn't give it to him. And his sister told him, you're a kafir, you can't touch it. You don't have tahara. And he took it anyway. But it says here that it was given to him. وَرَأَى فِيهَا. Then he looked at it. Yani he was a literate one. He was able to read. And so he saw there, طه ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى إلا تذكرة لمن يخشى تنزيلا ممن خلق الأرض والسماوات العلى إلى أن وصل إلى قوله تعالى. This is what he saw from the beginning of the surah until he got to the ayah. إنني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا إنني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا فاعبدني وأقم الصلاة لذكري. So these ayahs mean Taha. Taha, those are two letters in Arabic. Allah knows what they mean. Some say that's one of the names of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى. We did not reveal the Quran to you so that you would be miserable, so that you would suffer. إلا تذكرة لمن يخشى. Rather, we revealed the Quran to you so that it would be a reminder for anyone who fears God. تنزيلا ممن خلق الأرض والسماوات العلى. As a revelation from who created the earth and the high skies. Until he got to this ayah, which is part of the story of Prophet Musa. The story of Prophet Musa is there. And Allah revealed to Musa, Innani, yani this one Allah made Musa hear his speech. So what did Allah say to Musa with the uncreated speech? Innani ana Allahu la ilaha illa ana fa'budni. Indeed, I am God. No one is God but me. So worship me. Wa aqimis salata li dhikri. And observe the prayer for my remembrance. So Umar ibn al-Khattab saw all of that. Qala dulluni ala Muhammad. So he said, tell me where Muhammad is. فَلَمَّا سَمِعَ الْخَبَّابِ خَرَجْ. So when Al-Khabbab heard that, he came out. Yani, because who was in the house when Umar came? They ran, they hid. Subhanallah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Subhanallah. Still just thinking about how he's just 26 years old. He has a lot of hearts, a lot of yani, big personality, a lot of charisma. Subhanallah. So they ran when Umar came, those who were in the house. They hid in the house. And then Umar assaulted his brother-in-law and his own sister. And then when he said, tell me where Muhammad is, when Al-Khabbab heard that, he came out. وَقَالَ لَهُ, and he said to Umar, أَبْشِرْ يَا Umar. Congratulations, Umar. فإني أرجو أن تكون دعوة رسول الله ليلة الخميس لك. I hope that the messenger of Allah's prayer on Thursday was for you. What was that prayer? اللهم أعز الإسلام بعمر بن الخطاب أو بعمر بن هشام. Oh Allah, support Islam by Umar or Amr. Umar or Amr. So in terms of letters, their names have the same letters but different vowels. 3 letters. Umar or Amr. The way it's worded here, unless there's a version like this, it's not exactly the way the hadith goes, but it was just spelled out here for the sake of the story. He said, "Oh Allah, support Islam with one of the 2 Amrs. One of the 2 Amrs. That means Umar or Amr. فقال دلوني على رسول الله." And so he said, "Tell me where the messenger of Allah is." So this is what it says right here. According to what's written here, this time he called him the messenger of Allah. First time he said, "Tell me where Muhammad is." So we should just review the hadith with its different versions so that we can be sure that this is how the hadith goes and that this is not just the meaning, and that the storyteller here, whose words have been recorded, is not just speaking, talking. And so he said, Umar said, "Tell me where the messenger of Allah is." But he didn't really say it that way. It's just that this is the way it was recorded from the one who's telling the story, who's recalling the events by meaning. So Allah knows best. وكان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في بيت الأرقم الصفا. And at that time, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was at Al-Arqam's house. And his house was at As-Safa, Mount Safa. وراح إلى هناك. So Umar went there. وضرب الباب. And he hit the door. وكان من أشد الناس على رسول الله في الجاهلية. And he was amongst the greatest opponents of the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in the era of ignorance. Here, this statement also, fil jahiliyyah, because we say jahiliyyah means before the message, before the revelation. Is that what's intended here, or just what's meant here was before he embraced Islam? Because why would he have animosity for the Prophet before he got the revelation during the time of ignorance? فقال الصحابة, so the companions said, "Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah, هذا Umar. Umar is at the door." And Hamza was there, and he was still alive at the time. So some people were intimidated that Umar was there. Hamza said, "If he came for trouble, we'll kill him with his own sword." فَفَتَحَ الْبَابِ. So the messenger opened the door. Yani either he did it personally, or it was opened by his command. وَتَقَدَّمَ نَحْوَ النَّبِيِّ. Then Umar stepped to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. فَأَخَذَهُ الرَّسُولُ الْعَظَمُ أَشْجَعُ خَلْقِ اللَّهِ. So then the messenger of Allah, the greatest messenger, the bravest, the most courageous creation of God, he took Umar, he took hold of him, he gripped him up. He gripped up Umar. بِمَجَامِعِ قَمِيصِهِ. And he gripped him up by the collar, or approximately like that. وقال, and he said, "Aslim yabna al-Khattab. Allahumma hdih." Embrace Islam. Yani, or if I want to be a little, submit, O son of Al-Khattab. O Allah, guide him. فَمَا تَمَالَقَ عُمَرْ. And وَقَعَ عَلَى رُكْبَتِهِ. And Umar could not contain himself. He fell upon his knee. fell on his knee. It maybe mean his knees, but it's only singular here. فقال له النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. And then the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said to him, ما أنت بمنتهٍ يا عمر. Then the Prophet said to him عليه الصلاة والسلام, you're not done yet, Umar? You're not finished yet? فقال, and so he said, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. So he said the Shahada. فكبر أهل الدار تكبيرة سمعها أهل المسجد الحرام. Then the people in the house, they said a takbir heard by the people in Al-Masjid al-Haram. And as you know, it was narrated that after that, like right after that, the Muslims did a parade. Umar ibn al-Khattab was at the head of one line and Hamza was at the head of the other line. And the kuffar were very disappointed. They were very disappointed. MashaAllah. And it was said, as you know, inshaAllah, that Umar ibn Khattab said, in those old times, if someone knew that a person became a Muslim, the people would assault him. But nobody used to assault me. He said he would go to a person and say, I became a Muslim, nobody would do anything. So he went to a person, he told that person, I'm a Muslim. So that person said to him, you want everybody to know? He said, yes. So that person said to him, go to that person there, tell him I have a secret, and then you tell him. So he went to that person, he said, I have a secret. I became a Muslim. So that person said, hey, everybody, Umar ibn Khattab became a Muslim. And then that's what the people rolled on him. He said they were hitting me and I was hitting them back. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Allah knows best.
قصة أبي مسلم الخولاني رضي الله عنه. The story of Abu Muslim al-Khawlani. May Allah accept from him. Abu Muslim al-Khawlani رضي الله عنه الذي كان موجودا في زمن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم لكن ما تيسر له الاجتماع بالرسول. Abu Muslim al-Khawlani, he was existing at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it was not easy for him to meet the Prophet, the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. He didn't have the opportunity to meet the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam before he passed away. So that makes him what? A tabi'i. And that makes him which rank of tabi'i? Tabi'i kabir, senior tabi'i. Senior tabi'un, those are the ones who lived, they are in age and era, like the Sahaba. In age and era, like the Sahaba. Except that they didn't get to meet the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. So these are senior successors. And also what makes someone tabi'iyun kabir, that he took, the most of what he took is from the Sahaba. Most of what he took is from the Sahaba. As opposed to tabi'iyun saghir, junior tabi'i. He's one that most of what he took is from other tabi'un. And he only took from a companion or two. Kana bil Yemen. He was in Yemen. ثم أيام عمر جاء إلى المدينة. Then in the days of Umar, when he was the caliph, he came to Medina. وَاجْتَمَعَ بِسَيِّدِنَا عُمَرٍ. And he met Umar. كان من الزاهدين العابدين. He was amongst the monastics, the worshipful monastics, meaning those who are disinterested in the world. مرة كان يسبح بالسبحة. Once he was using some thicker beads. ثم نام, then he slept. فصارت السبحة تدور في يده. Then the thicker beads started to turn on his hand. وهو نائم, while he was sleeping. وتقول, and the thicker beads were saying, سبحانك يا منبت النبات ويا دائم الثبات. Exalted are you, oh, you who makes the plants sprout. Or one might say, oh, you, sprouter of the plants. وَيَا دَائِمَ الثَّبَاتِ. And oh, you with everlasting existence. ثُمَّ اسْتَيْقَظَ. Then he woke up. فَنَادَى زَوْجَتَهُ. And he called his wife. قَالَ يَا مُسْلِمٍ. He said, Muslim, تعالي انظري إلى أعجب الأعاجيب. Come and look at the most astonishing of astonishing things. فلما جاءت سكتت السبحة. And when she came, her beads stopped. So one thing, what if you told the story to a Wahhabi? It's not going to believe it. Because they don't really believe in the awliya. Although the reports about the awliya are confirmed, and the books of Aqidah document them explicitly, like At-Tahawi and Al-Fiqh Al-Akbar and other books of Aqidah, like Al-I'tiqad by Al-Bayhaqi. And they don't talk about the awliya. All they talk about is bid'ah and shirk. That's one thing. Also, what do you have here? These dhikr beads were saying, Subhanaka ya munbitan nabat wa ya da'ima thabat. So would you try this? Would you say it? Yeah, try it. Why not? Someone might say, that's not coming from a hadith of the Prophet, though, alayhi salatu wassalam. You say to that person, here, you don't have to be strict like that here. And oftentimes, the pious ones, they are inspired to say magnificent supplications, immaculate supplications. Oftentimes, the pious ones are inspired to say immaculate supplications. And likewise, there are the tariqas of some of the elite saints, like Al-Rifa'i. Those ones, Allah inspired them to have some formulae, and then they would command their disciples who are under their influence to say these formulae. They even make a pact with them to dedicate themselves to saying that, and then you find very great benefit in these. I'm making these comments now because someone recently was seeking something for some du'as they wanted to do, and turning down something if it wasn't confirmed in a hadith. So you don't have to be like that. يا دائم الثبات معناه الذي وجوده لا نهاية له. Already explained, I translated what يا دائم الثبات means. It means the one whose existence has no end. أبو مسلم الخولاني كان يكذب الأسود العنسي. It's written here with the kasra. I memorize it with fatha though. Al-Ansi. If I read this as I memorize it, which that's what some scholars said, you go by your memory. Now I'm going to say Abu al-Aswad al-Ansi. الذي ادعى في اليمن أنه نبي. Abu Muslim al-Khawlani, he used to contradict a kafir called al-Aswad al-Ansi. Al-Aswad al-Ansi. The one who was in al-Yemen and claimed to be a prophet. مرة أخذه العنسي فأدخله نارا. Once Al-Ansi took him and put him in fire. فلم يحترق, and he did not burn. فعلى ذلك ثلاثة أيام. He did that for 3 days. فلم يحترق, and he did not burn. فقال له ابتعد عن أرضي. He told him, be gone from my land. And he couldn't kill him, so he banished him. هذا سيدنا عمر قبله بين عينيه. هذا سيدنا عمر قبله بين عينيه. This one, Master Umar, kissed him between his eyes. And he praised Allah for putting in the nation of Muhammad someone who is like Abraham al-Khalil. And in the story of Abu Muslim al-Khawlani, and in the stories of some other awliya, there's evidence that the supernatural sainthood privilege could be similar to the miracle of a prophet. So it's not actually best thing to say when defining a miracle. That a miracle, part of its definition is that no one can do similar. Rather, you say about a miracle and defining it, no one can discredit it by doing similar. No one can do similar to a miracle to discredit it. But it is possible that a saint would do something like a prophet would do. And it is valid that a prophet's miracle would not be performed by a saint, such as the Quran. And it is possible that a saint would have a special karama that is not replicated, like Mary having a child without a father. قصة العلاء بن الحضرمي رضي الله عنه. The story of Al-Ala ibn al-Hadrami. May Allah accept from him. I didn't notice how close we are to the end of the book. SubhanAllah. كان بعدما توفي الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم بعد خلافة عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه رجل من أصحاب الرسول من الأولياء. There was, after the messenger passed away, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, after the caliphate of Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah accept from him, there was a man amongst the companions of the messenger, min al-awliya, a one who was a saint, ismuhu al-Ala ibn al-Hadrami. His name was Al-Ala, the son of the Hadrami. هذا كان خرج قائدا في الغزو في الجهاد في سبيل الله. This one, he went out as the commander of an invasion in jihad, fighting for the sake of God. ثم هذا القائد جاء ليلاحق العدو الكفار. Then this commander, He came to catch the blaspheming enemy, or to catch up to them. فما وجد سفينة فما وجد سفينة يلحق بها الكفار. And he did not find a vessel, a ship, to catch the kuffar. الذين أخذوا السفن وهربوا بها. Those who took all of the boats and escaped with them. هو أولا قال بسم الله يا علي يا كريم. He firstly said Bismillah, in the name of God. Ya Ali, Ya Kareem. Oh Ali. That's one of the names of Allah. Oh Kareem. And that's another name of Allah. Al-Ali means the exalted one, the perfect one, the one of greatness, who is God. And Al-Kareem, it can mean the perfect one also. And it can mean the generous one. So that's what he said. He said, Bismillah ya Ali ya Kareem. Khad al-Bahr. And then he stepped, and then he walked upon the water. فَلَمْ تَبْتَلَّ رُكَبُهُ. And, okay, not he stepped across the water. Not he walked across the water. He entered the water. خَاضَ الْمَاء. خَاضَ الْبَحْرِ. Yani he went into the water. فَلَمْ تَبْتَلَّ رُكَبُهُ. MashaAllah. That's very interesting. MashaAllah. May Allah have mercy on the Shaykh. Ameen. What happened here? So, what he said here, if I just translate the words. وَخَاضَ الْبَحْرِ. Then he went into the sea. And he went in. فَلَمْ تَبْتَلَّ رُكَبُهُ. And his knees did not get wet. Okay. But he said rukab here. Rukab is plural. Plural in Arabic is 3 or more. So, is there something here that has 3 or more knees? Yeah, his animal that he's riding. His animal has 3 or more knees that he's riding, but there's no mention of his animal here. He was riding an animal though. And I knew that. I was just translating the words here. And also, I didn't review this ahead of time, so I really don't know what's coming, to be honest with you. So, I'm reacting to it. So, without mentioning the animal, the Shaykh here, these words of the Shaykh, they do point to the animal. They can be interpreted that way. That's why it's so interesting. I'm not pausing here too long for you. Someone might maybe say, maybe he meant here the knees of Al-Ala. Maybe he meant the knees of Al-Ala. And he's just using plural form to mean both of his knees. So it just impresses me here. Because Shaykh, he's a special scholar. So I like to see something that's proof that he's a genius. ثم قال للجيش. Then he said to the army, خُوضُوا. Enter. فَخَاضُوا. And so they entered. On their animals. فَقَطَعُوا مِن دُونِ أَنْ يَلْحَقَهُمْ تَعَبٌ. And they crossed without getting tired. ثُمَّ لَحِقُوا الْعَدُوَّ. Then they caught up to the enemy. And the meaning here is their animals went into the water, not walking on the surface of the water, but still crossing the water, like their feet are in the water without the knees getting wet. فَظَفِرُوا بِهِمْ وَكَسَرُوهُمْ. And then they defeated them and they broke them. And as I know the story, those ones submitted. They yielded. When they just saw them crossing the water like that, they didn't fight anymore. ثم بعد ذلك في أثناء تلك السفرة توفي هذا القائد في أرض برية مفازة ليس فيها سكان. Then, after that, but still during the journey, after that incident, but still while on the journey, this commander passed away, subhanallah, in a land. Maybe it's a desert, maybe it's a prairie, not a forest, not a jungle. Maybe it's a grassland. في أرض برية مفازة. أرض is the land. برية يعني it's the land. As opposed to the sea. Mafaza is the desert. But I'm just curious if it's the desert only, or if it's also maybe something like that. That's what I'm saying. Maybe, I don't know. Is it a prairie? Is it a grassland? Is it some open land that someone might call it a desert? Just maybe you might see some grass there though. Or there's just a lot of nothing there. Anyway, what looks like it says desert. So if it's desert, then it's desert. ليس فيها سكان. There's no one who lives there. So that's where he passed away. Great reminder also right there. He passed away and as if it wasn't expected. And not just that, but he passed away while he was busy. Maybe someone would think that he's not going to die before he finished doing something. Really, the angel of death, he would surprise someone at any time. It is all by the wisdom of Allah. Hafarullah, so they dug a grave for him. فدفنوه, and they buried him. ثم بعد أن تجاوزوا محل الدفن لقوا شخصا من أهل تلك الناحية. Then after they went beyond the place of his burial, they met a person from that area. قال لهم لما علم أنهم قاموا عن دفنه. He said to them after knowing that they finished his funeral and left. They left his grave. They left that place to be his grave. من هذا الذي دفنتموه. He said to them, who's this one you buried? قالوا هذا العلاء بن الحضرمي. He said, that's Al-Ala ibn al-Hadrami. فقال ما جزاء صاحبكم أن تتركوه بهذه الأرض. He said to them, it's not the way to pay this colleague of yours for you to leave him in this land. هذه الأرض فيها سباع. This land has scavengers. السباع تحفر لتأكل الجثة. The scavengers dig to eat the corpse. قالوا لا نتركه هنا بهذه الأرض. They said, we shall not leave him here in this land. فرجعوا, so they went back. فحفروا, and they exhumed his grave. Yani, they opened his grave up. Do you call it exhuming even if you don't pull the body out? That's what I just assumed right there. Let me see real quick. Looking in my online dictionary from 1828, they claim exhum, exhumation. The digging up a dead body interred, the disentering of a corpse, the digging up of anything buried. Okay, so it means not just opening the grave is exhuming or exhumation, according to this. Excavate, yeah, they excavated his grave. فحفروا, so they excavated. فلم يجدوه, and they didn't find him. Oh, رجعوا فحفروا. فلم يجدوه, and they didn't find him. إنما وجدوا القبر ممتدا مد البصر. Rather, they found the grave expanded as far as the eye can see. يتلاطم نورا, and it was, subhanallah, يتلاطم, maybe I don't know how to translate that. What I know of lam, ta, mim, that it means smacking. So then it comes to me that saying يتلاطم نورا يعني gleaming light, beaming light. I'm not sure. القبر كله أنوار. All the whole grave was lights. So I think that's it. That's it. It's beaming. It's rays of light. Subhanallah. أما جسده فلم يروه, and as for his body, they did not see it. رفع إلى حيث يشاء الله. It was taken to wherever Allah wills. مثل هذه الحالة نادرة. The likes of this case is rare. كذلك بعض عباد الله الصالحين شاهدوا بعض القبور اتسعت وامتلأت نورا. Likewise, some of the pious slaves of God, they witness some graves expand and fill with light. أما أكثر الناس لو فتحوا قبر ولي لا يرون هذه الأنوار. As for most of the people, if the grave of a saint were opened, they won't see these lights. ولا يرون هذا الاتساع, and they won't see this expansion. What Sheikh saying is there. And if Allah enables some wali, he'll see it actually. And he might also see in there the nice plants. So he would see yani, the situation of the grave, which is the person's enjoyment there. But most of the people won't see it.